Welcome everyone to our daily Forex market analysis call in preparation for trading on May 25th, 2017. Just a quick disclaimer before we get started. This is for educational purposes only. If you have questions about your individual investment needs, I recommend you talk to your investment advisor. Okay, let's start off by taking a look at our Forex factory here. So the biggest thing today was FOMC meeting minutes, and now that we are past here, so what happened there was that the big thing, so we saw a big jump in everything against the US dollar. US dollar dropped based on the FOMC meeting minutes or after the FOMC meeting minutes came out. So really what they said was that maybe they should wait and see what kind of data comes out, because we have been seeing some soft data for the US, and as a result of that it was creating, or it is creating, this issue here. So now Fed doesn't want to increase or raise rates into poor data, because that would mean that the economy is going to maybe turn around or take a turn to the downside again. So they wouldn't want to be tightening into that. So basically the big thing really was, they said, maybe we should wait and see how the data, if the data improves, and then do an interest rate hike. So that was negative for the US dollar, because had they talked about continuing on with the interest rate hike, that would have been positive. So that was the big thing there. So again, so the market took this as a caution. So there's some uncertainty here in terms of when they're going to raise rates and how many rate hikes we are going to have this year. So that's the biggest takeaway here. So before we were looking at, so let me just pull up the story here. So before they were looking at about 76% chance of rate hike. So now the market is uncertain after today's meeting minutes, and they're not sure. The key source of uncertainty coming from inflation outlook. So inflation is very important. If CPI is not going up, that is not a good thing, because then the prices are not going up, and that will be a problem, because then the wages won't increase and things like that. So yeah, so basically that's what they said that they may want to wait and see, which is negative for the US dollar. Okay, so now that that's behind us, coming up we have annual budget for New Zealand here, and going into tomorrow here we have GDP for British pound here, OPEC meetings all day. So when they have OPEC meetings, this is something it's important to pay attention to comments that come out of these meetings, because they could move the markets. So watch out for commodity currencies as well as oil tomorrow. And then we have unemployment claims, and after that we have FOMC one of the FOMC members speaking. But other than that, pretty light in terms of the data. So going into tomorrow, it is a holiday in Europe, and what happens, because it's a Thursday holiday, so we may get low liquidity going right into the weekend, which means that the moves can be a little bit more exaggerated because of thin liquidity. So keep that in mind. So tomorrow, London session as well as US session as well as Friday, because some people will take Thursday and Friday off, making it an extra long weekend, which will result in low liquidity conditions. Okay, let's take a look at the charts here. We had a bearish engulfing candle, and then yesterday, so based on that, we were looking for a move to the downside. It moved down slightly, but could not break this 1167 level. And now we have a bullish candle. So we're back into this range now. As a result of this, we will trade this as a range-bound market. Bullish close into the middle of the range here, so we're looking for price to move up higher. It could pull back. It could come back and test this lower level again, 1167, and then move back up higher, which is, so we could see a move like this. So keep that in mind. So if it comes down here, there may be a potential entry long here. If it goes up here, we may see one of these, so triple top here. However, if it does break through, then we could see a move further up. So in that case, we are looking at 1320 level, which is right above, right there. But before that, so about 1300 will be the first target, because this is nice support and resistance right here as well. So 1300 is the first target, and the second one will be 1320-ish area. So those will be the two level to the upside if it does manage to break out higher. And again, with thin liquidity, market price can break out wherever it wants to. So keep that in mind, and we just need to watch that. Okay, so for the pound here, we had a bearish candle. We did come down a bit. However, we have closed in a very, very neutral place at the moment. We are still in this a bit of an upward sort of trajectory here. As a result of that, we are still biased to the upside. So in this case, again, biased to the upside. So we may see a bit of a pullback and then another move to the upside. In terms of the pullback, we could see it come all the way down here into 129.37, or it could just come into this level here, right here, this support and resistance area, so which is 129.50. So we could see a pullback and then a further move to the upside. So something like this could be seen, unless it breaks through this this level here, this trend line, and then comes down lower. At this point, dollar is not strong, so I'm not expecting big breaks to the downside unless something comes out that really moves the market. So again, in this case, we are still bullish here and looking for further move to the upside. New Zealand US dollar here, we are into resistance, and that's our 7100 is the next target. Bullish close for the day, and now it's to be seen if this 7050 level will hold. If the price stays below the 7050 level, then we are looking for a move lower back into this, probably the low right here. But if it breaks up higher, because now that it's weak, it could break up higher, especially with the low liquidity conditions. This kind of move is what we're likely to see. But with the OPEC meetings tomorrow, if they come out and say that they cannot decide on production cuts, for example, that would undermine this, and we could see New Zealand dollar drop based on that. So here we are right now. It's pushing off of the high here, 70.50. Looks like it wants to come down here. So we have a bearish pin bar and a couple of little ones here. So we could see it pull back, and the level that we may see it come to will be this one here. So we could see this support coming into play and pushing it back up. So then once it goes to the top here, this is what we need to see if it does that. So break out of that, the highs will be something to keep an eye on if it can break through the 70.50 level. Overall though, this is bullish based on the daily close. But a little bit caution here because of resistance level that it's currently at. This one here, we are looking at Aussie. So Aussie has had a nice pin bar, and it did go down based on that close, but it came into support and then pushed back up now. So at this point, bullish close, and again, we'd be looking for a test of the highs. Beyond that, again, OPEC will have an influence on this as well. So 75.50 would be the target to the upside. This is where we are. It could go up higher. And here we have, this is where we are. It dropped, pushed back up again. Now we could see it come back into this level and push back. But this level here will be important here as well. So 74.64 level, this one right in the bottom of this little move to the upside. So if price comes here, we could see it push up higher. So biases to the upside. It's just a matter of where the pullback comes to. But do keep in mind the same warning as applies to New Zealand. We are, we do need to look at oil and see what happens. So while we're talking about that, let's have a quick look here. We saw a big whiplash in oil today. It came down and now, and since then it pushed back up. So the close, based on the daily close on the oil, that was very neutral close. So we would be looking for some direction, and it is understandable that it would be neutral close. One, we are into strong resistance, as we can see right here. Secondly, we have OPEC meetings. So at this point, oil will be driven more based on sentiment than anything else. Dollar CAD today. Dollar CAD was another interesting one because we had Bank of Canada rate statement today. They did not raise rates. Bank of Canada was actually quite neutral in terms of the rates. They cannot raise rates because the economy is not doing as well, but they didn't cut rates. So they're fairly neutral. And so they are looking at some areas of the economy that they are positive on and others that they have concerns on, oil being one of them, but overall there are parts of Canada that's really doing really well. So based on that, the market took that as Canadian dollar positive, and we saw this big move to the downside. So we have broken out of this 134.50 level we were watching, and now this is a very, very bearish close for the day. Again, same warning for oil, but we could get one of these moves to the downside. It is into support at the moment. So here we go. So that's where price is at currently. So we could get push back into 34.50 and then a move to the downside. So that's something to keep in mind. Or we may not get as big a move to the upside. We may just get up to this pin here. And we could just see one small, like a shallow pullback and then a drop. So that's a possibility as well. The next target would be 33.75, so 33.80 area, or this one right here, 33.50. So those will be the two targets to keep in mind at this point. So as oil has been going up, dollar CAD has been dropping. So there's that correlation between them. Now that's the move we are expecting. Normally, I do like to see, normally we get this pin to pin test. So what happens is we get a pin here and then another pin on this side and then a drop. So that would be really cool. So Trump made a statement. So he wants to finance the budget by selling some of these oil reserves. So oil will actually go down if he says that he's going to sell the oil reserves because because it increases the supply in the market. But yeah, so he does do a lot of posturing. So we don't know whether he really means that he's going to open up the reserves. So what he wants to do is use those oil reserves, sell them off, fund the budget, and also build a wall and stuff with Mexico out of those. I'm not sure how that will really fly, or how that will play out. I don't know what kind of I don't know if a bill needs to be passed in the Congress or something to be able to do that. Not sure what the real, how you do that, but it will create market sentiment. So do watch out. So that's why, especially with, because what OPEC is doing is they are cutting production in order to decrease the supply of oil in the market. So if he then comes and says, we are actually going to sell some of those oil reserves, that will be negative for the oil, because then it kind of counteracts whatever OPEC is trying to do. So that's why it's very important to see what they are, what comes out of the OPEC meetings tomorrow, because we'll have to figure out, and then based on what President Trump says, we'll have to figure both of those scenarios in. So I think it could be volatile. But we are definitely looking for a move, a follow through. So a good one could be third push up here and then a drop. Okay, so that's dollar CAD. Let's have a quick look at dollar yen. Dollar yen, a bearish pin bar, especially after FOMC here. Based on this close, we could see another move to the downside. It is into resistance here, so this was important level. And now we could see price push up and then do another drop, especially if the US dollar kind of maintains the weakness. So we could see that type of move here. But however, yen is not really strong at the moment, so the move will be driven by US dollar weakness more so than the yen strength. So that's what we could see a double top here. So this would be a good level, 112 for that. The bias is to the downside, back towards this range here. So the first target will be 110. So it's currently at 1161. So the first target will be 110, and then further down into 110.20 level. So this is what it looks like. So we could see a push into 112 and then a drop. So that would be nice if we could get a double top scenario there. Then CAD yen. CAD yen, very bullish because Canadian dollar was very strong today as a result of Bank of Canada statement. Now we are looking bullish here, coming into resistance at 83.50 level. Once it breaks through this level, the next target would be 84.20. So that's what there is important support and resistance level. So that level will be very important. The immediate test will be 83.50. If it, and then there's this inefficient move here as well. So if it doesn't clear this level here, so about 83.40, 83.50 level, we could see it come back and fill that inefficiency. So again, because it's Canadian dollar, anything could happen. If it does a double top type of thing here, we are likely to see the inefficiency get filled. But again, OPEC dependent, very much OPEC dependent tomorrow. New Zealand yen here, this is a very neutral close. We have candle body that's about the same size as the pin bar, so very neutral for the day. At this point, we could see it push up a little bit higher, so into the highs here. And again, that will be the decision point. So if dollar yen starts to drop, we could see this one. It's because it's been such a long ride up. If you take a look at this here, we've moved about 250 pips already, so we could get a topping formation and drop. But there is news coming out for a New Zealand dollar. If the news comes out positive, we could see that push to the upside. Once it clears 78.80 level, then we are looking at 79.30 level here, which is a major resistance, because we haven't been through that since March. So that would be an important level. So at this point, we are neutral. We're looking for a potential short at 78.80, but cautious. And if it breaks through, we're looking at 79.30. Dollar Swiss, very bearish close, looking for another move to the downside. The target would be 96.80 level right here, right into the lows. And then that will be the decision point. If it breaks there, 96.40 is the next target, but immediate target would be 96.80 level. So here we are, looks like we have held this previous support and resistance level right here, 97.80, and we're kind of right in here. It looks like it wants to kind of trickle down. So that's that. But then we could also see, again, the push to the upside, and then a double top and move to the downside. So one thing to keep in mind is because the FOMC came out in the afternoon, the London, well, I guess London hasn't really had a chance to digest that news, but then they're off tomorrow. So we'll have to just see how that plays out. Euro here, Euro, we did get two nice pins into 75, 125.37. Now, important test will be, again, if it's going to hold. But the way it's sitting right now, it's a bit of a triangle, which means it could move higher. So if it does, then we could see it go and test this next level, which is 125.80, which is also right into our R3 level. So 125.30 level is good. It is a bit of a compressed move, but it has been pulling up. So the important decision point will be 125.37. If it closes below here, if it holds below, then we are likely to see once it breaks through the pivot here and trades on the other side of this trend line, we could see it drop. But if it doesn't, it could just coil into here and then do a break to the upside. So right now, it does. This would be a short, but the way it's sitting up high there, that's what makes me cautious about this one. So we'll just need to see which way it breaks. Euro New Zealand here. Euro New Zealand daily close is bearish, so we would be expecting another move to the downside. In this case, we could get a test into this 159.70 area and then another drop. But again, we have news coming out for New Zealand dollar later tonight. If it comes out negative, then this could start to go up. But if it comes in line with expectations, or if it comes out positive, then we are likely to see this drop. But again, this is very much tied into OPEC tomorrow, so that would be something to keep in mind. R1, this could be a pullback level for it to continue lower. This is a good pullback level, R1, like this. That would be something to watch. So 159.70 level, or even slightly higher into this area. So 159.92. So let's just say 160. And in that case, the move would be more like a big pullback up here and then a drop. Overall, though, based on the daily close, that looks bearish. This is Euro Aussie. We are still in the range. The close was quite good, however. It is pushing back up at the moment. So we will treat this as a range bound because it hasn't broken the range for a number of days, and now it's moving back up. So in the bottom, if it comes and tests the bottom again, we're looking to buy at 149.25. And the upside, if it goes all the way to 150.80 level, that would be a potential sell. Looking at the 1 hour, this is where we are. It has been coming down again quite nicely here. So we could see just a test of this level and then a drop. So that's to be kept in mind. 149.25 level, this is a important point though. If it does this, that's just going back into the range. So currently it's range bound, and we need to watch if the range breaks and where it breaks to. If it holds above 149.25, chances are it just will move back into the range. Okay, that's all I have. Anything else that we need to go over? Okay, perfect. So we will call it a wrap for today. And I will see you guys tomorrow.